And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in business with a showdown between the Warriors of Chaos, who shall be led by Kolek Suneater, coming in with a pretty nasty spawn build. And today, my friends, we face off against the Lizardmen, who are going to be led by Lord Mazdamundi, aka Jabba the Hutt, and he is going to be a top Zlok, but it looks like he has been overshadowed a little bit by the mighty Shredder of Lustria. This is the first time I think in months I played against a Shredder of Lustria, but I actually think it has some niche applications against Chaos. It's pretty quick, does have 60 speed, good against infantry, can of course fight against Shaggus, and if you're fighting another big monster, being able to actually poison it is really good, so it does have the poison missile attacks from its back. Granted, I still wouldn't say the Shredder of Lustria is super cost effective, but I certainly think as far as its applications go, the Chaos matchup is certainly one of its bigger strengths. Now, as far as my build goes, we do have a couple Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, and these guys are going to be trying to drag down the big dinos. It gives you steady, mobile AP damage to just put some hurt on Lord Mazdamundi and, Bastillodons, whatever you really need to bring down. And it also gives you some anti-air. They're not as good as like the Horse Masters or the standard Marauder Horsemen against air units because the throwing axes kind of have like slower arcs and don't seem to be quite as direct, but they can still actually put some hurt on the aerial units here. So at least we have some answers, or at least something to keep them back. So I kind of was expecting some Air Force here, so that's why I brought the two Horsemen, and I did also bring a Manticore as well. So the Manticore is pretty good at chasing down Pterodons. At the very least, it can occupy them. It costs, I believe, 800 gold or 900 gold. I can't remember off the top of my head. But in terms of like cost trading, Pterodon Riders are a little bit cheaper, but at least it's not like you're spending like a Dragon level unit to try and chase down Pterodon Riders. So front line's going to be Marauders and Spawn, and I've found, honestly, in most matchups, if you have Chaos Marauders in the front line with Spawn backing them up, they hit pretty damn hard, and even against like armored units or Saurus Warriors or more elite troops, they can actually punch through them pretty well. So I really do like the combo. Plus against Dinos, Spawn actually aren't bad. Yes, they don't have the best AP values. If you look at the weapons rank, it's 160 with I think only like 50 of it being armor piercing at 42. But nonetheless, they have good mass, so they can actually hold up the big Dinos while your Shaggoths do the heavy lifting. So we have the weird spawn and the regular spawn here. We have Kolek and a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth for our anti-large kit against the big dinos. We do also have a Shadowcaster for enfeebling foe and Pendulum as well against like Temple Guard and troops like that. And last but not least, we do have a Hell Cannon lurking in the back. So Hell Cannons can be pretty good against dinos. I'd like to bring them in case they go with like Temple Guard boxes because that was something that dinos used to do a while back. It's not as much a thing these days, but I still think having a Hell Cannon is pretty fun for sure. That's pretty much it for my opponent's army. 2 Pterodon Riders, Temple Guard mixed in with Saurus, Cohort of Sotek. Obviously, if you are going to be getting the Shredder of Lustria and Zlok, that's going to be most of your army. You're not going to be having too much extra fluff. But that's going to be it, guys. Let's get this show on the road and see how this battle unfolds. So here comes the Manticore flying over there, going after the Pterodon Riders, and the throwing axe is also able to put some big damage here on these Pterodons. More importantly, I just wanted to make sure they couldn't get back there and like drop some rocks or maybe take out my Hell Cannon, because I really was enjoying how much damage it truly was doing here to the Star Chamber Guardians. So the Guardian's down to 65 models. Here comes another Hell Cannon shot. Going to be bombing in from deep. Here it comes, and waboom! Right into the Star Chamber Guardians, but they kind of took it like champs. Only lost a couple models and, about 25% HP in total. But now the Shredder of Lustria comes. I'm relatively well equipped to deal with it. I do have the Shaggoth plus Kolek, but again, Shredder plus Mazdamundi, that's actually pretty scary, even for Kolek as well as the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, especially considering he does have Star Chamber Guardians and a little bit of a skink support in the back. Also, you have to take into account the fact that there is going to be some nasty poison. So right here, I was pulling back defensively, and he does pop an End of Ammontok, which looks like it's going to be an attempt at a Ruination of Cities. So here comes the Ruination. Let's go ahead and watch which direction it goes. Yeah, and I think Ruination of Cities is bugged since the last patch. It went pretty much 3 times in the same direction, but it wasn't bad. It hit my infantry in the front, and it did also hit my Marauder Horsemen. Now, I wonder if it goes like the same exact direction every time. If it does, that actually means it could be a little bit stronger than it was before. But yeah, that's probably something they'll fix, so I probably wouldn't put too much credence on that. Hell Cannon shooting in, going after the Star Chamber Guardians, and the main fighting will be underway in just a second, but a Banishment coming down as well, and honestly a really good start for my opponent here. He gets a Banishment, able to nuke my front line a little bit, certainly not bad. So now the Shaggoths are going to be coming in, and I will be counterplaying here with the Pendulum, so Pendulum going to be going right down the pipe, wrecking those Cohort of Sotek, and also hitting those Saurus Warriors very, very hard. As far as these spawn engagements go, you can see how quickly the spawn are really taking apart the Saurus Warriors in the front, but you also have to remember my front line is mostly Marauders, so obviously some of the troops and skinks and things like that will eventually get through, especially the Cohort of Sotek, who have refused to die. So now we're in the more important part of the matchup here. You can see my Dragon Ogre Shaggoth actually being beaten down pretty bad by the Shredder of Lustria, but that's also because he does have the Star Chamber Guardians nearby. So I pull back the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. I send in Kolek to try and get some blows here, but it does have Harmonic Convergence. I see that it's buffed. I'm like, man, I gotta get out of here because this frontline fight isn't going quite how I expected it. Granted, over here it's not going bad. Saurus Warriors are losing here, and the weird spawn are still kind of crumping down some of the Saurus Warriors, but he's getting close to my Hell Cannon, and he's also winning the monstrous fight with the Halberd support on the ground here. So in response, we do use the Enfeebling Foe, and now we're getting some decent blows here on the Shredder of Lustria. Kolek and the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth doing their best. But man, it's so cool to see the mighty Shredder of Lustria in business. And yeah, I don't have enough tools to really stop up Mazdamundi. So he gets on the Hell Cannon for free, he's able to knock my troops off, and he might be able to destroy it here. Lord Mazda Money on Slock is quite scary. So I try and maneuver away, get away from the Shredder of Lustria, go after Mazda Money for a quick second, but my positioning with the monsters wasn't so good. He was able to get on top of my Dragon Ogre Shaggoth and really do a ton of damage, but Kolek is a pretty scary anti-large monster. You also have to remember I do still have my spawn, so the spawn kind of mucking these guys up, plus Kolek could potentially get me back in this game, but currently, honestly, my opponent's pretty far ahead. You can see the bounce power slightly reflects that, but him being able to take out a Shaggoth, while still having a somewhat healthy Mazda Money and Shredder of Lustria, is very terrifying for sure. Now, from a gold perspective, though, Mazda Money plus Shredder is way more value than Kolek and a Shaggoth, so if I can kind of normalize the battle in other ways, it could certainly be quite good. So throwing axes are going back in here. I have a little bit of ammo left, and they're going to be unleashing into Mazda Money and the Shredder, and you can see my Dragon Ogre Shaggoth has come back as well. So just kind of biding my time, letting my Chaos Spawn do the heavy lifting in the front line, go after the Covenant of Sotek, and here comes Kolek, the Sun Eater, getting in there with his Crump and Hammer, getting a couple of huge blows into the back of Mazda Money, but Mazda Money here still has Guardian. Those Star Chamber Guardians proving to be super valuable in this heroic duel. Granted, the Shredder of Lustria does get Guardian, that would be pretty OP for sure. I've got that juicy physical resist, but my Hell Cannon's offline. You can see the Shredder, the Mighty Beast, the Hunter of Star Dragons, is able to take out the Hell Cannon, excuse me, for the most part. And some damn allergies today. Curse the Baggins, man. But Kolek, coming, just bouncing back and forth. Our Manticore did also chase off some Pterodon Riders and finally came back from its Mighty Conquest, but I am falling behind on the bounce of power. But now I get the spawn in here. We also have the Manticore kind of chewing on the heels of Lord Mazda Money, and Enfeebling Foes helping out in the situation as well. But the Shredder of Lustria does see the Mighty Chaos Sorcerer here and does terrify him. Gets a massive blow with its 750 weapon strength. Damn, that thing hits hard. But this is really good. We got the spawn kind of mucking up his advance, and the Manticore also blocking the Shredder of Lustria. So here, Kolek is finally able to get an isolation. He's coming in, he's attacking Mazda Money, and I do also send in the Marauder Horseman with throwing axes. And the reason I did that is to try and block up some of his other units from getting and helping Mazda Money. You can see Mazda actually takes some really big damage there. So the Hell Cannon's back online, now shooting at the Pterodon Riders. I did lose a lot of it, but it was able to stabilize. In the most recent patch, the Hell Cannons actually did get an HP buff, which means this bad boy is going to be able to fight a little bit longer. And Kolek is shaken, but he's holding firm, and my Manticore is still grinding pretty well. Using the Horseman as a distraction Carnifex really allows me to get on the Shredder of Lustria without it being able to attack Kolek back efficiently. Now, Manticores don't have the best AP values they do have right now currently when Poison 356, but I believe their base weapon strength is something like, I don't know, like 400 something. Yeah, it's really not bad. And you can see we're actually wearing down the Shredder of Lustria, but a lot of that DPS is actually coming in from the spawn. The Shredder does have its armor sundered by the weird spawn, so basically, you know, it's exponentially squishier here from these Chaos Spawn attacks, and the Chaos Spawn are really doing the heavy lifting here. I was super surprised in this battle, but Kolek, of course, able to maneuver with his support nearby, pulls back, and finally the Shredder of Lustria is wavering as the mighty Mountain God is able to get some huge crushing blows on this beast. And also, the little cousin has come back as well, and the Shredder of Lustria has fallen to Kolek and the returning Shaggoth. I couldn't believe it, but man, the weird spawn were just doing so much damage. So now Kolek will be able to easily duel Mazda Money. This is going to be a fairly easy kind of engagement here for him. I'm an anti-large specialist. Mazda Money only has 26 melee attack, very bonus for his infantry heavy here. But again, he does have the poison on top, which probably will slow down Kolek a little bit, but it looks like the poison is going on something else. And I shielded the old ones from my opponent here, but it's not going to be doing too much, as I believe all the Temple Guard are gone, and he's got a couple Skinks coming back here as well. And Mazda Money is going to be going down for the count as the Manticores, as well as, or the Manticore, and Kolek Sun Eater are able to get their big old beaten sticks on and finish off Mazda Money. So very well played, man. That was a close game, and I have to admit, when that game was happening, I was like, oh, this is 100% over. I lost this one. The Shredder of Lustria, like in Mazda Money with the net play, were able to like nuke my front lines in the beginning with Ruination and Banishment. He was also able to get some better engagements against my monsters in the beginning. Mazda and the Shredder of Lustria, plus a little bit of poison support, basically killed my Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, which was a 2,000 gold investment. So from there, I was kind of on the back ropes. I was winning the infantry fights, though. The Marauders plus the Spawn were able to beat the SARs and the Skanks, and eventually cleared out the Star Chamber Guardians. So yeah, the Spawn, I think, are a really valuable asset to the Chaos roster. Something I didn't used to like, but obviously seeing them used in the Beastmen so much, I was like, you know, it's probably pretty good with Chaos too. And it really is. I've been using them against Empire in the Chaos front line. It really gives you that longevity, and even though they lack AP, they still do hit really hard, especially with the weird spawn, because we brought the Shredder's armor down to 70. From there, we were able to metaphorically shred him with Kolek as well as our Shaggoth. And Kolek, of course, is a true anti-large duelist. So if you can get like those engagements that are one-on-one, he's able to just get the Star Crusher, get in there and go balls deep. It's going to be pretty good for him. So yeah, as far as the build goes, I do like it. I think having the Hell Cannon against the Temple Guard box is pretty strong. the 2 Shaggots with good control. Of course, my control wasn't good in the beginning. It was in the late game. But they can usually win or at least compete in most monster fights. Of course, you're not going to be guaranteed a victory, but if you can get the better engagements, you'll do well. I think the front line's pretty efficient against dinos, marauders, and spawn, and then you have some throwing axes and the manticore for the terror routes. I do like this build. I don't know. Maybe you could cut the Hell Cannon, but I'm trying to think. If you cut the Hell Cannon, you may struggle a little bit with like Temple Guard boxes and things like that. I guess you could cut the Hell Cannon, get one more Marauder Horseman, then maybe get like one group of Chaos Warriors with great weapons. Maybe something like that, a little bit more well-rounded. The throwing axes were good, but he was able to wreck them really hard with his Pterodons and also some of his magic. So really well played to Erasmus. He mentioned that he does watch the channel. So cheers, man. It was a really good game. I honestly thought you had me. But yeah, I guess just the mighty Sun Eater was able to claw that one back. So well played, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Warriors of Chaos vs. Dinosaur game. And we'll see you guys back with more content soon. Take care.